Welcome to the Yoga Entrepreneurship School podcast, or as I like to call it, the Yes Podcast. My name is Brytta, your podcast host with over a decade of experience working as a yoga teacher and business consultant all over the world. The Yes Podcast is for people in the wellness industry who are here to say yes to their dreams, their businesses, and their bank accounts, all while teaching what they love long term. The Yes Podcast is sponsored by Bridal Babes Yoga, a Luxe start to your celebration. Ready to elevate your bachelorette or hen-do weekend with something truly unforgettable? My Bridal Babes Yoga experiences are crafted with intention, movement, and connection because you deserve more than just the usual. Immerse yourself in a soulful, joy-filled session designed exclusively for you and your crew. Whether you crave a restorative morning flow, a themed class with playful energy, or a heart-centered practice to set powerful intentions for this next chapter, we'll curate a dreamy experience that feels as radiant and one-of-a-kind as your love story. What to expect? Thoughtfully curated playlist, essential oil-infused head massage, a pause to breathe, move, laugh, and connect with the optional add-ons of tarot card reading, astrology chart reading, and friendship bracelet making. This isn't just a yoga class. It's a radiant start to your weekend, an unforgettable moment of luxurious relaxation and joy before the confetti. Let's make magic for your bridal crew. To book a Bridal Babes yoga class, you can go to brittamarita.com/bridal-babes-yoga or find our link in the show notes. Hello, Adrianne. I'm so happy you are here. This is a collaboration that we are doing together. We're doing a little cross promotion. I am on Adrianne's podcast and she is on mine because we want to talk about the importance of collaborations in the yoga industry. And before we dive in, Adrianne, what are you saying yes to today? And then please introduce yourself to this community.
I am saying yes to doing this podcast. I am a podcast host, but I don't usually do guest podcasts because it makes me nervous. But I think that it'll be fun and we've talked a lot of, so that's what I'm saying yes to, putting myself out there a little bit in a platform I'm slightly uncomfortable with. And I am the host of the All Mats Taken podcast. I'm also a yoga teacher. I teach yin yoga locally here in New Zealand. And the All Mats Taken brand is all about helping yoga teachers fill that business gap and become entrepreneurs, because whether we like it or not, unfortunately, we are entrepreneurs and business owners. And how do we make that a sustainable living and help more people discover the beautiful practice of yoga and practicing yoga? I also have a summit that I run pretty much annually, so we've on the third one this year, which is pretty exciting, and that's a big collaboration venture, so we'll talk a little bit more about that today, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for introducing yourself. For those listening, a little backstory. I don't know how exactly we connected, but you invited me to be in your summit last year. And then I was in it this year as well. And I thought it was really cool because there's really not a lot of summits in general in like the yoga and wellness world, unless it's like something very niche. And what I love about the All Mats Taken Yoga Business Summit is that you really choose someone for each niche within the yoga industry, which I feel like is a lot of work, but it also covers all the bases. So if you want to host retreats, you have someone for that. If you want to own a yoga studio, you have someone for that. If you want sales, you have someone for that. Copy, like you literally have every niche within it. So no matter who comes to this summit, they're going to learn something. And I just love that because I teach all of my clients and everyone in my community the importance of being a 10-dimensional yoga teacher, meaning you have to have 10 skills outside of teaching yoga so you can grow your yoga business. And your summit provides that. And I just think that is an excellent way to be of service through yoga.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really designed as like a the basics, but it's all very practical. So it's not just like a bunch of webinars. Like you'll leave being like, okay, I know how to do this in my business. And yeah, it's a little bit of a smorgasbord of I need to work on this part, but the main focus is digital marketing. But we have like a little bit of teaching this year as well and honing your skills and upskilling, because that's a big important part of being a yoga teacher or in anything, is always like learning and refining. And yeah, it's been fun. It's fun to get to collaborate with so many people and meet lots of people in the industry and get to connect with people like yourself. And how we connected, I basically just stalked you down and found you for the summit.
Okay, good to know. I love that. Just got a stalker, no worries.
You've got to just go around stalking if you want to do some collabs.
AKA create good content so people can find you.
Yes.
I love that. I would love for us to just take a deep dive into collaborations in the yoga industry. You have a lot of experience in the online version of yoga, and I have experience working in studios and retreat center collaborations. So that's why we wanted to chat today. What is your experience with business collaborations and yoga from the perspective of like someone who's never done this before?
I think collaborations are one of the best forms of marketing. So if you have not done it before, it's definitely something to consider, and it kind of gets overlooked a little bit on top of like be on Instagram all the time. And it's a really good way of sharing audiences. So you've already got trust between like your audience, the people that follow you, and who you're collaborating with. And I think that's really important. Everyone's talking about trust recession at the moment, which I think is a big thing, especially in the online space. So if you're borrowing people's audience, quote unquote, there's already that level of trust, and they know each other and whatever platforms that they've been building on. So I think collaborations are really valuable from that perspective. I also think they're just fun. They're a fun way of marketing. You get to like meet new people, you get to make new friends in the audience, in the industry, sorry. You get to find new ideas, have someone to bounce ideas off, because often this is a lonely sort of space if you're a solo entrepreneur. So it's really fun to approach collaborations from that perspective. I feel like I've gone a little bit off track on the question, but
It's all
that's
good.
that's why I think collaborations are really important, and I think very valuable to your business. And yeah.
I loved how you talked about the loneliness of being a yoga entrepreneur, just an entrepreneur in general. It is occasionally lonely. I think that's like the number one thing I struggle with as someone who's constantly traveling the world teaching yoga and having an online yoga business, is even though like I'm really good at creating community and just putting myself out there, to create like those long bonds as a business owner takes time. And most of my like really good friends I have met through Instagram, and then like met up with them in real life, or met them at like a meetup or Eventbrite event. And it was all through an online connection that like fostered into a really beautiful collaboration, turned friendship. And just know that like these things take time. And that for me, it's like you don't need to have a huge crowd of friends. You need to have like, your top 5 or top 10 who can like just like speak about you no matter where you're at in the world, and like be that friend for you as a business owner. And I think it's just like important to surround yourself with people who are in your industry but do different things, so that like one, like you can do one thing and they can do the other, and you have this perfect collaboration. But also it's so important to surround yourself with people who are doing different things so you can grow as a business owner.
Those are both very good points. And yeah, I love that. I agree. I've met people in the online space, and then it's just someone you can check in with, and you don't necessarily have that in person. Depends on how big where you live as well. Like your family or your immediate friend circle might not have that experience and understand what it takes. But then if you find someone online doing something similar but a little bit different, like you said, and you can connect with them, and you can just have some beautiful conversations about business and life. And it's so nice having people that you can reach out to and make connections with in that way. The internet is a beautiful thing. Like, we're on completely opposite sides of the planet right now.
Yeah, I'm
I'm in
in
New
Paris and
Zealand.
she's in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's like 11 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. for me, and it's like what,
It's
early morning
8.
for you?
Yeah,
8
it's
a.m.
like
for you, yeah.
8:30 AM. Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of collaborations though, is that like you can literally partner with anyone in the world, especially as yoga teachers. And that's what makes us so special. Is what I love as a yoga teacher is, like, for example, in Paris, which really surprised me, it's like some of the most educational yoga classes I've ever taken in my life from an anatomical perspective, to the point that like I'm able to take yoga classes in French because I understand the anatomy part of yoga, versus like London, where like in Portugal, where yoga is really just starting out, in my opinion, and it's very commercial yoga versus real yoga. And I love that because of this, like I can collaborate with people and I can constantly learn this way. And I think that's really important, like when you're traveling or when you're an online business owner, like depending where in the world you're at or where you're hopping around at, is like you can go to all different types of yoga studios and learn how like New Zealand and Australia do yoga versus how like Europe does yoga. And it's two vastly different things, even though like yoga all comes from like one lineage.
Yeah, everyone's got their own perspectives. And I think from a teacher's perspective, if you're organizing a collaboration, depends on the type of collaboration. But like you said, like feeding into other people's skills. Like I have these visions of running things that have like sound healing for my students, and like I do yin teaching, but I don't necessarily have the sound healing skills, and to like learn that is a huge thing. Whereas I can just find someone that does that really beautifully and be able to like curate these amazing experiences for people that fill lots of people's like skill set, and just in a faster, more whole way, I guess, with different perspectives.
I love that. And I really agree with that too. Like, just like from the teaching perspective. I would love to understand, for those of us who might be new with collaborations, what, in your experience, is the foundation of building a successful business partnership for a yoga teacher? Like, what is the foundation? Like, for example, an online business, you need a website, you need to be on social media platforms, and that's like an online business. But to create an actual collaboration, what does that look like?
Most of it's just having the guts to reach out to someone, but doing your homework first, like getting to know them and understanding like where their skills are, and so where you can really leverage them, and also what they're trying to build as well, so you can highlight them, I guess, rather than and really work together. So if you want to collaborate with someone, searching them, look at all their platforms, watch content that they have created, like see their voice, see what they're passionate about, and then reach out to them from a very genuine perspective, which I'm sure we will all do, rather than like we've all seen cold emails and you're like, I don't understand the point of this. You haven't even used my name, which is so easy to find. Like there's a
Yeah.
0% chance that this is going to happen. So I think it can seem like daunting to reach out to someone that you don't know at all, but like get to know them a little bit. You can follow them, as I mentioned. You can stalk them on Instagram a little bit, like engage with their content so you're not a completely random person. And then just reach out and just go for it. Practice your communication. Just practice asking, I think, is the hardest part for me. And then that just becomes second nature, and just accept that some people will say no and it's nothing personal, and that's okay, but more people will say yes than what you expect.
This is so true. And I love that you said more people will say yes than you expect, because I'm doing this right now with this new podcast. Like, I'm pitching myself to people who I really want to be on this podcast. And it lights me up every time someone says yes to be on the Yes podcast. And it surprises me, but then I'm like, why am I surprised? Like, I'm doing a great job. And I think that's what it is like, if you're showing up and you're doing the work, people are going to see that and they're going to follow you and get inspired by you. And also, like, some people are going to say no and it has nothing to do with you. Like, it could be like their own mental blocks, their own busy schedules. I've had people say like, I can do this in 6 months, but not right now. So it's like, there are so many different answers you're going to get. And the most important part is putting yourself out there. Like, I teach my clients a lot about sales, and I tell them, like, practicing sales is just like practicing yoga. You have to practice and you have to get used to falling off your mat. You have to get used to messing up. And once you feel that it's in your body of just getting in that comfortability, then like do it while doing dishes and then do it while practicing yoga. And it's literally the same thing. Like if you're going to go and pitch yourself as a collaborator, like practice having those conversations so it becomes muscle memory in your body.
Yeah, definitely. And have an idea and don't just go to someone and like, I want to collaborate. Like, have an idea, make it sound fun, be passionate about it. Because I think people will be able to pick up that you're really passionate and excited about this thing. And then naturally they're like, awesome, that sounds great. I want to be a part of that. Like, let's do it. Or let's do it in 6 months, or it's not quite aligned for me. But I think that's important as well, to make it as easy as possible to someone to collaborate with you.
I agree. Like if you put in the heavy work and just their only job is to show up, or like that's the main part of their job, then they're going to say yes. They're more likely to say yes because their only job is to collaborate with you. How do you find people / businesses to collaborate with? You mentioned earlier how you stalk me on social media. Is that how you find people? Like when I was managing yoga studios during my lunch hour, I would quite literally go outside and like introduce myself as like studio manager or owner and be like, this is my idea, and pitch them in person. But like those are actual storefronts that I didn't have to research. So how do you find people and businesses to collaborate with? What does that look like?
Yeah, if you've got like a key idea, like typically you'll have an idea of who it is that you want to collaborate. You might know the person already, but if you don't, if you're like, I'm looking for someone that is a yoga business mentor, like you said, the summit's very niche down. So it'll be like, I have the specific topic that I want someone to talk about. Who can I find that's the best person to talk about this? And just searching that, like searching online, searching Instagram, looking at different people, and then going through their content to see if it aligns, because if it doesn't quite align, then you're less likely to get a yes as well. If they're like, oh, I don't really talk about that, like I mentioned it once in one Instagram post, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just like getting to know the person, which is very easy in this online space as well. In person, I'm sure you still had an idea of the type of studio you're walking into and what they offer before you're collaborating, and you had the idea of the type of collaboration. So I think that's the most important part. And just searching online, you can probably get ChatGPT to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you now.
Exactly. And I think that's really important. Like, don't just like show up and cold pitch someone, like show up with an idea and a business plan to go with it. Like have dates ready to go, have times ready to go, I wouldn't even just say one idea, like have 3. So it's like that way they have options to choose from, and it shows them that like you have really done your research and work to want to collaborate with them, and it shows that like you are someone who makes effort. And a lot of people really appreciate that more than even the collaboration itself. Like people who make effort and have the passion behind it are more likely to get a yes and to get the collaboration versus those who are just unwilling to do the work. And yes to ChatGPT doing the work for you.
Yeah, if you have their like website, it doesn't work for every single website I've noticed, but if you've got their website and like Instagram handle and be like, create a summary for me of everything about this person. I do that with my podcast get interviews now, so that I can research them quite in depth, quite quickly, so I can write questions for them specifically. Very handy. Saves a lot of time. I would say researching guests for the podcast was one of the heaviest lifting parts. That's just got a lot easier as well, I think, for the next round.
You're the second person who shared about this on the podcast, like how ChatGPT can write your podcast script for you. And like how it can do that heavy lifting for you. Like I'm someone who really enjoys writing. So like I came up with like my own show notes and the template. And then I'm like, wait a minute, like I don't have to do this. Like I can still put it in my voice, and then ChatGPT can write it for me and like do that research for me. And I think that's really important because there's so many responsibilities when it comes to running a yoga business, whether online or studio. And you're going to lose a lot of sleep just because you're running a business. It's like practically your child. So if you can have something like some kind of tool or system to do some heavy lifting for you, like you're going to get more sleep, you're going to be able to be a better leader, you're going to be able to be more present and show up for your people and make the sales and the collaborations in your business that are needed.
100%. And I use Claude more than ChatGPT, to be honest. That's my love of the AI world. Me and ChatGPT have a fraught relationship currently. I won't go into.
That's
But
how I feel about Gemini. So
oh
like
yeah.
Gemini, I would like do research on it and they're like, someone else already did this. And I'm like,
Oh,
I don't
really?
care. Like that was like a response. And I'm like, this is not a collaborative relationship. Like I'm done with you.
That's funny. I haven't used
Um,
Gemini too much, but I would also utilize the deep research function. Excuse me. I utilize deep research when you're researching someone, which I've discovered recently, because then it's going to find sources online. If they're online a lot, it can find places and that you wouldn't have expected to find them. Like it'll search like 200 different web pages or something, and like pick up a lot of information about them. And like this sounds really creepy, but it's just really useful to then you're like, okay, I get all of the parts of that person and you've clearly done research, and it just you can approach it from a more strategic angle, I guess, and save you both time. You might read it and be like, this person's maybe not right, and it saved a lot of time.
Can you give us an example, like, because you've done so many online collaborations because of your summit, like, give us an example, like, if I decided to open an online yoga business and let's just give an example, an online yoga studio where I teach yoga to postnatal moms and I want to start collaborating with maybe some like mom and baby brands. What would the setup of that collaboration look like, and how would I go and pitch myself? Like if it was an online collaboration, like maybe I want to have goodie bags for my students or something like that that I can mail to them. What would that look like?
Yeah, like if you're doing something like that, I'm assuming it's probably going to be like more local if it's like sending out goodie bags. So I would just do like research a list of all of the types of businesses that you would appreciate. And for that example, you could even do like local soap brands that maybe they have like a baby soap, or like doesn't have to be a yoga tie-in specifically, or anything like that. Find a list of things that you want to, like, curate what you want to see in the goodie bag first, and then go and be like, okay, I want like a little baby soap who locally makes the most beautiful little baby soaps that I can reach out to, and then have a list of people that might fill that gap, or you might only need one or two. So curate the product first, I guess, and then find people that fit all of those product niches, and then just reach out to them. Like I said, do a little bit of research so you know them, and explain like why you think this would be a good collaboration. What are the benefits for them by collaborating with you on this? So in that example, it would be you're going to get exposure to however many people that you imagine are going to be receiving these gift bags, so they know what's expected of them and they can see the benefits to their business. Usually it's going to be mostly exposure for collaborations. Collaborations often are a lot cheaper than running ads as well, so you can talk about that, like this is in that respect if you wanted to. But I'd just say like, hi, I'm a new yoga teacher. I'm running this program and I want to send out gift bags. I'd really love to include one of your little soaps in the gift bag. They're going out to prenatal mamas or something to be using that. I'll include like description of your business and how they connect with you. Would you be interested? And that's pretty much all you have to do. It's just a simple ask. Don't make it too long, I would say. Like, start with a connection to like why you think they're amazing. People love getting complimented, and make it authentic and genuine as to why you love them. And then jump in with the ask, explain the benefits, explain the benefits, what's the idea, and then close with would you be interested? If you're doing it on Instagram, voice notes are really great. little video is great, something personal that shows that you're a human. That often gets a really great response. But if it's something more formal, then I would do that via email.
I fully agree with you when it comes to voice notes. Like I'm a voice note girl through and through. Like everything on WhatsApp and Instagram is voice note for me because I just don't have time to be telling a story. And I'm someone who could like write a book in an email, and I have had to like now we have Chat GBT, but I've also had to teach myself like how to cut emails in half when it comes to pitches like this. And like I even notice when people send me long emails, I'm like, I'm not even gonna read this because I just don't have time.
Yeah.
So cut your emails in half and then like cut it in half again. That way people will actually want to work with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it really easy for them. Make it as easy as possible for them to say yes and to scan it and say yes and know exactly what it's about. And always follow up.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't reply to you straight away, like don't take that as a no. I would do 3 follow-ups would probably be my maximum, but I know some people, depending on the collab, will do like 7. And I think it depends on the business that you are reaching out to and how big they are as well. The bigger the business, the more asks I would probably put out there. If it's a big company, use LinkedIn to see if you can find like who would be best to connect with. So is there like a product manager or like, or a marketing manager or something within that company? Most of the businesses that yoga teachers we're likely going to be collaborating with are going to be like smaller businesses anyway, but depends on what you're doing. So see if you can find the right person to get your email to. And if you were sending a voice note, make it short and sweet. So like the voice note for me would be like introducing yourself. I have this idea I'd love to collaborate with you on. I've sent you an email, or can I send you an email with more information, rather than like pitching your entire idea in the voice note. And it's just to like start that dialogue and then see if they say yes.
You shared about the follow-ups. What is the follow-up time frame? For me, I typically follow up within a week if I don't hear back, and then another week, and then after that, I kind of do this thing. It's like the same when I send out like an email sequence. It's like every week, and then I wait like 14 days to send the last one to see if like maybe the schedule has changed or something. What do you think the time frame should be for that?
Yeah, I'd probably say something similar. Like, I know some people will say 3 to 4 days. I probably wouldn't do it less than 3 to 4 days, but I'd leave it like a week and then follow up. And then when you follow up, if it's like an email, you want to reply with the email below it, so you're not sending a completely new email, so that they still have that context. And it can just be something simple like, hi, just checking in, like I wanted to see if you were interested in collaborating on this. The details are below. And because it might have just been buried, it depends on everyone's emails. Like I have 7 emails and a bunch of them are a mess, so it's not necessarily that I'm ignoring you. It's possible that I haven't seen it, and that's quite likely for the person as well. Also, notice some people email is not best with. I prefer email for a more professional stance, but some people are all over Instagram, and then other people won't be on Instagram. So if they don't see your message, like try a few different touch points. If you can see that your Instagram message just isn't getting through, feel free to email them as well. Like try multiple ways and try 3 times. I cap it at 3, but you can keep trying if you're quite persistent. And then, go from there. There is like one of the big companies that I got as a sponsor for the summit, and I tried last year and I didn't get a response from them. And I emailed them a bunch of times last year, no response. And then this year I tried again, and I still had to email them 2 or 3 times. And then I got a response, and they were one of the sponsors. So if you really want one, persistence.
Persistence is the key. I also have learned, because I've had to do a lot of research around retreat companies and working with them because that's more my niche. And what I have learned is that it actually like depends on the culture. So for example, the UK like retreat people always respond via email, but Americans do better with Instagram DMs. And I mean, I reached out to hundreds, and that like it really like opened my eyes to like, wow, like this is how different cultures prefer communication. And then like some of them also prefer calling. I hate when people call me. Like if someone calls me and I don't have the number saved, I won't even pick up. But it's like some people like it just I think it depends on the culture and like what we're raised in, and like the UK is very much like 9 to 5 professional, so of course email. But like for me, I prefer if someone reaches out to me via WhatsApp because email is like the place where everything goes to die for me. So it's like if you send me an email, I'm not going to respond for like a month probably, unless it's like really important. So everyone's communication style is different. So I love what you said about like you reached out on LinkedIn, you reached out on email, you reached out on Instagram, and it's doing that because first of all, you don't know who's running each account. And like a lot of times, like social media is a great place because they have actual social media managers like responding to their DMs who can connect you to the right person. Versus email is very personal, and like my emails get buried because I just don't have time to reach out to them.
Yeah, and it's often finding like which place that person is going to respond as well when you touch point and trying to figure out what they do. It's not as easy as it was pre-internet when we just had like phone and writing.
And
There's so
writing
many
letters.
different ways of connecting. And then you've got like Signal and WhatsApp and all the different ones, and people use different things. So it can be a lot, but if you sort of try a few different touch points. But if you've done some research, you should have a fair idea of like where their communication channels are as well. And I would say lastly, I would send it if there's like on their website a contact form. That would be my last place. If I really can't connect with them over Instagram or find their email directly, then I'd send a website form.
I'm with you on that with the contact form being the last. And for people who are building like yoga and wellness websites, as someone who like builds them for my clients, please put your email on the contact page. Like put other ways, because a lot of times contact forms break on websites. So it will look like it's working and then it's actually not, and you might not know for weeks or months or ever. So have multiple ways on your contact page for people to contact you. And it doesn't have to be like personal ways, but like have your email on there, have your Instagram, so people can reach out to you in multiple ways if you're someone who wants to make money in your yoga business, which we all do.
I agree. Mine always goes to spam. It's so annoying. I don't know why I keep trying to like move it to my inbox, but I just know to check my spam now because I keep getting customer inquiries for my yoga business, and it just keeps going to spam. So check your spam as well.
I wanted to talk a little bit about studio and like retreat center collaborations. And I would also love your opinion on this. So I'm someone who has owned and managed multiple yoga studios and retreat centers. I've also been like the marketing director. And like I very much love and enjoy in-person and human connection. And what I have learned in my experience is like, to me, if I'm a yoga studio owner or manager, I don't want to say I don't want to, but I'm less likely to collaborate with another yoga studio because that's more, I don't want to say my competition, but we're both offering the same thing. So what I do is I tend to partner with like gyms, like an Orange Theory or like a HIIT studio, like, and like they would do like the cardio aspect, and then like we would teach the yin yoga and things like that, or things that like have nothing to do with yoga but are more like in the wellness world. Like maybe you collaborate with like an organic supermarket or restaurant or something that complements each other. What is your opinion on this? Do you think that a yoga studio should partner with another yoga studio, or do you think it's best to do something that's a little bit different to offer two offerings in one? And like, what are the benefits of this?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the idea that you have, but I think it probably is typically better to do, as you said, like collaborate with someone that's like adjacent to your niche. So you're going to both share the similar audience. So you want to cross over, I suppose, like your audiences, and they are maybe interested in yoga, and then they're like, wow, yoga's cool, like this is the studio, rather than just like swapping studios. And then that's kind of like the cross-pollination kind of way that it's going to work. So I generally would say that is better. And as I mentioned earlier, you want to look for someone that's sort of like complementing your services and your ideas. In saying that, I've been on Mackenzie Fly's podcast and she's been on mine, and we basically have exactly the same podcast. And we're both, but obviously not, because we're different people, but it's exactly the same theme. We're both yoga business. We started it at the same time, pretty much, like, and I think there's value in that as well, because you know that you have an audience that is interested in this, and there's obviously going to be slightly different perspectives, but so there's a time and a place for anything, but it makes sense from a strategy perspective that you're tapping into new audiences if you're going with people that are like wellness adjacent, I guess. But if you're working with, like, planning currently a sort of half-day retreat thing with another yoga teacher, but she teaches like Hatha Vinyasa, for example, and then I teach Yin. So again, it's like still both yoga teachers, but very different styles. And hopefully we'll like introduce people to both our styles.
I think this is so important, and I actually see that as something that complements each other, because you can't be doing vinyasa your whole life. I mean, you can, but like your body, whether you want it to or not, actually needs yin. And I'm saying this as I have a spinal disability, and like I did vinyasa for years, and then I found yin like 5 years into my practice, and I'm like, this is way better than any vinyasa class I've ever taken in my life, because like I get to rest, and that's really nice. So I think it's
from so many people.
like I get to take a nap for a whole hour. What?
I feel like it's one of these things, once you've been practicing for a while, and then you kind of like understand that yoga is not just all asana, and you're like, wait, this is yoga? I can just like sleep, basically.
Yoga nidra. And I think that's something to talk about too, is like the collaborations within the yoga styles. Like I shared earlier, I have a spinal disability, and like for me, and so many people have injuries and disabilities in their bodies that we're just living with every day, and it's so important to have every possible option that can heal your body. So like we need the vinyasa to keep our core strong so our back doesn't hurt, but we also need the yin to fully allow our spines to rest. And I teach a lot of yoga to new moms, so like getting moms back into their body, quote unquote, or like so they can basically rebuild like their core muscles. And we need everything. Like we need lifting weights, we need like a strong vinyasa flow, and we need restorative and yin yoga. Like we actually, our bodies physically need all of that. Just like when you wake up in the morning and then you go to bed at night, like you need to be both awake and asleep to be a functioning person. And it's the same with yoga. And that's when these collaborations like for retreats really work, because all styles of yoga benefit the body. I remember I took a SUP yoga training in Aruba, and even though SUP stands for stand-up paddleboard for people who don't know that, so even though the training was like on a board on the water, every single day of the training, we got to practice a new style of yoga. Like some styles I'd never practiced in my life that are just like wild yoga that I really love. But like one day was yin, one day was like yoga on this like skateboard slash wakeboard slash like 80s Pilates class, and it was amazing, like one of the best classes I've ever taken. And then like another day was like handstands and vinyasa. And like even though the SUP yoga training was the SUP yoga, I remember learning all the different styles of yoga, and I benefited more from that than the actual training itself. And that's when those different types of teachers and collaborations can work really well if you're doing a retreat or training. And the same goes for your studio. Like if you're hosting a workshop or even a yoga teacher training, like you don't only want to teach people vinyasa in a yoga teacher training. You want to teach them at least like 3 different styles of yoga so they can be that 10-dimensional yoga teacher, a well-rounded yoga teacher, which is so important if you want to go out in studios or own your own studio one day, to have the skills within yourself to be able to teach multiple styles of yoga.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to expose your students to more of a holistic, well-rounded approach to yoga, and see that there's so many different facets to it that they can lean into and learn about. And generally in wellness as well, like maybe it's sound healing, maybe it's like some local nutritionist. Like there's so many different things that you could do. The options are endless. I think in our conversation, because we touched on a little bit about collaborations for you coming on my podcast, which is what sparked this idea for this whole conversation, was like you said you could go to like a local brewery, and if they've got like an off hour, and host a class in there. Like there's just, you can go wild with it and have lots of fun with it, and it doesn't, I don't think there's any limits as to what you can do. You can be really creative and try to like tap into these new audiences and like-minded people. And for our retreat half-day thing that we're planning, like we want to collaborate with a local vegetarian restaurant because we love them, and Nelson is like tricky in winter. We are not a winter town at all. Like everyone goes into hibernation, so all of the hospitality industry like struggles. So one reason we wanted to support another local business, but also they have a great following. So we were like, if we're collaborating with them, then hopefully they'll share it. So then that gets us in front of more people. And then creating like goodie bags. We want to promote local businesses. So it's like this beautiful sort of two-way street where you can create something that supports the local community, whether that's online or in person around you. And it all kind of just like feeds into this beautiful ripple effect.
I love this, and I agree. It's like it's the ripple effect of, first of all, like support local businesses always, all like I say, all day, always. And they are never going to forget that like you supported their business, and they're going to want to work with you again. They're going to refer you through word of mouth to other people. If like our other businesses, if they want someone to come in and like host a retreat in their space, like now you're that person for it. And how do you think yoga festivals were created? It's literally a massive collaboration, and like the online summit that you do, like to me, that's a yoga festival, but like business online style. And there are like massive opportunities to co-collaborate and to create beautiful connections and impacts on communities when you just choose to put yourself out there with the knowing of you don't know what's going to happen. But I think if you come from it from the perspective of I'm doing this to be of service to people, then it's going to work out. And that is my firm belief in everything I do in my business. Like I'm here to be of service to people, therefore it's going to work out, period.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd second that as well. For all Matt's taken. It's just like, how can we help people? And I think that's how I've managed to grow it and get some of the people in it that I've managed to. There's some pretty big people in the industry that I never would have thought would say yes to little old me, but they do, because I think they can see that part and they can see the intention that you're coming to it from, and they're like, that's an awesome intention. I would like to be part of that. So I think that comes first.
What do you think the benefits of collaborations are? Like for me, for example, I think getting like new students into the studio who like go to a gym or like are in the area but like never practice yoga unless the collaboration happened, or like getting people on your email list, like for people who are coming to the online summit or just like online yoga collaborations in general, what are the perks, like quote unquote?
Yeah, it's getting in front of new people, and it's potentially faster than slowly grinding away on Instagram or something, and it's more fun. Or you can even do Instagram collaborations, like all the posts that I've done that do better, and I don't like Instagram, I'll be honest. Like I'm not a social media person, but those do better because you're sharing audiences. So it's getting in front of a group of people that are already trusting this one person, and they're going, hey, look at this person, and you're like, hey, look at this person, and then all of your audiences can like cross over and you can discover new people and they can find you faster than running ads. Well, maybe not faster than running ads, but like collaborations can be pretty impactful if you're strategic in who you're working with and you're doing them regularly. Like there's a huge opportunity to just get in front of new eyes. And this could even be like you're going on podcasts and that's your collaboration. Like if that's more of a collaborative marketing tactic, or maybe you're doing joint workshops, or maybe you're building a summit. Like there's so many different options that you can go with, and it's just getting in front of new people and having fun along the way. And you get to practice a lot of skills in terms of being an organizer and an event planner, and I think those are very valuable skills for yourself to develop as well, and putting yourself out there. And there's just so many different things that you can go through personal growth with building out collaborations. I would say the one thing, if you're like just starting out, don't pick like the top podcast, that's like number one. Don't try to get on Joe Rogan straight away or whatever it might be. You want to like pick something that's like got a similar audience to you and they're maybe a little bit bigger or maybe the same size as you, or if it's a really niche, interesting thing and you really like want that skill, someone that's like a little bit smaller, but you're just sort of continually growing. They don't have to be like huge people. You just want to pick like niche people that have
I
a strong
yeah,
audience.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I am where I am today because I put myself out there with like really big people.
Fair enough.
And I never had any fear with it. I feel like my fear didn't set in until I turned like 30, honestly. And then I was like, wait a minute. Like I don't know how that happened. But like I've gotten some amazing opportunities because I pitched huge yoga festivals and I had a very tiny blog and they said yes to me to go and work on their media team or to go teach yoga to them. Like Boom Festival and Envision Festival, and like I got to like interview people like Nako Bear, and like I got to go to a Rachel Braden training, and it's because I chose to put myself out there. So yes to like building yourself up, but I think at the same time, go and pitch the people who like terrify you to pitch to just to get in the practice of doing it. Like not even for like the yes or the no answer, just to get in the practice of doing things that like make you uncomfortable, because putting myself out there is something that terrifies me. Like going to networking events is something that absolutely terrifies me. And I try to go to 2 a week just because it terrifies me. And like for me, like personally, that is like doing something big, is like going to a networking event. So I think doing both just to like get yourself, like it's kind of like rather than skipping boat pose, like actually practicing boat pose because it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, that's a good point. I would say it can be like helpful if you have a couple smaller ones to like we'll take podcasting for example. If you can prove to someone bigger, like big name, that you've done this before, then you're just gonna get, it's more likely that it'll be an easy yes, for example. So like it doesn't even have to be like huge other podcasts, but if you can like prove that you have done it, then they're more likely to pay attention to you. So but yes, I think you go bigger and go bigger faster than what you think you should.
Yeah, because you just don't know. Like to me, the answer is like the worst thing that can happen is someone says no. Like that's truly the worst thing that could happen. And then like you're upset for 30 seconds and then you move on with your life. So I see it both ways. And I agree with you when it's like stay in your niche. Like I'm not going to go pitch myself to a Joe Rogan podcast, but like I am pitching myself to what is her name? Tori Dunlap, like her first 100K, which is like one of the biggest female entrepreneurship podcasts. And like I pitch myself because like I love what she does. I've like been impacted by her work and I'm like, why shouldn't I be on there? Like I do what she does, but it's in the yoga industry. So why not? So maybe it's like asking yourself, why not? For the All Mats Taken Online Yoga Business Summit, if someone wanted to be a guest on there to learn from other teachers, how do they find you and how do they sign up for that?
Yeah, so it's an annual event, but you can come and join my newsletter and come and listen to the podcast and you'll get updates on when the next ones are running. So allmatstaken.com, or you can come find me at allmatstaken on Instagram. I was Jerrett Digital, but I'm trying to push All Mats Taken a little bit, so you can find me on both. I'm in a transition phase that I haven't figured out yet, but
That's part of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. But yeah, so All Mats Taken, search it, you'll find me and you can come and collaborate. If you have a really cool idea, pitch me. I'm happy to hear things. I always like to, I've had a few of the attendees from the summit come in as guests on the podcast, and actually one of the summit speakers for 2025, she pitched me and was like, it's my dream to be on the summit, which was a beautiful thing to hear. And I was like, come on, if you've got a good idea and it aligns. So,
In a dream. I love that.
Yeah, I've had a couple people say that. I was like, oh my God, that's like the height of compliments. It was amazing.
And as someone who has taught on the Online Yoga Business Summit, it is such an impactful journey as someone who teaches on there. So if you have the opportunity to achieve your dream and go and teach at this summit, pitch yourself. Like I'm pitching to pitch yourself to Adrianne because you get to meet so many incredible yoga teachers from all over the world, like people who can really help you grow your business or who you can just learn from by them sharing their journey. So if you have the opportunity to either be a guest on there or you're someone who's been in the yoga industry for quite some time and you are ready to get yourself out of your comfort zone, then go and pitch yourself to Adrianne because the best thing that can happen is she'll say yes, and the worst thing that can happen is she'll just say no or not yet. So go and pitch yourself if you are ready to share your skill set with the world in the yoga industry.
Yeah, and the only ones I really say no to if I'm like, this just doesn't quite align niche-wise.
If it's not yoga.
Well, no, but yoga business more so. Or
Yeah.
like something that doesn't align for yoga teachers. I've had a few people pitch me that I've had to say no to because I'm like, this is for yoga students. And while we are all yoga students, my like niche is talking to yoga teachers. So it has to be something that like yoga teachers will benefit from, which is where I mentioned earlier, like when you're looking at any kind of collaborations, like make sure you're aligning, like think about it like how can that person's audience benefit as well, potentially.
I agree with this. Like it probably wouldn't make sense to like have someone come on there who teaches yoga. It's like it has to be like someone who teaches a skill set that can help a yoga teacher grow, not someone who can like teach you how to teach child's pose, for example.
Yeah.
I could be incorrect on that, but I think it's really helpful. Like if you are someone in the yoga business world that has a skill that maybe someone hasn't discovered yet or something that's really helped your business grow, then like you might be a really good contender for the summit.
Yeah, or even if you don't necessarily like specifically yoga business, but you're a yoga teacher and there's something you want other yoga teachers to know, like that's useful for yoga teachers. So
Exactly.
looking at that kind of angles when you're collaborating. But, yeah.
And I think that's just important in general. Like, thank you for sharing that because it does make sense. Like, from a collaboration standpoint, you don't just want to like pitch yourself for the sake of pitching yourself. Like, it needs to align and it needs to make sense. And like, you don't want to waste your time or the other person's time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always awkward having to say no to something or like explain that. So try to avoid that. As I said, make it easy as possible and make sure that the idea aligns before you go out and pitch and go and pitch
Yeah.
and have fun.
And maybe like cross check it with ChatGPT to make sure it makes sense, like outside of your head.
Yeah, if you're really not sure, be like, would this align? Although ChatGPT will just probably affirm it for you in some way, shape, or form and be like, yes, you should do it, even if it doesn't make sense.
I feel like this happens a lot in the yoga industry, like at least in retreats. Like I've had to say no to working with quite a few people because it's kind of like they took a nap and woke up from a dream and like decided to be a retreat host. And I'm like, this is not how this works. And I feel like this happens a lot in the yoga industry. It's just like these really creative ideas that just don't make sense in real life. And I love it because like we're all dreamers and creators, but like also from a business perspective, we all just need to start thinking with our business mind rather than just like the la woo woo fairy yoga mind.
Yeah. Or see if you can make that woo woo fairy big dream, like tie it back into a practical thing. Because I think that's the other thing with like wild collaborations is that gets people's attention. Like maybe the beer and the yoga thing, like people be like, what? In the brewery? Like something that, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've taken like yoga classes in breweries and I'm someone who doesn't drink, but like I came there for the yoga and I really loved it. And like I've also done like yoga in theaters before, which completely changed my life just because of the art that's in theaters. So there's so many creative things you can do if it makes sense. And it could also just be like try it once and see how it goes. Like the worst thing that can happen is like it doesn't sell out or like I've never like done anything like that when it didn't work out, honestly. So I think it's just trying it once, and then if it's great, you can continually create that partnership.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing before we jump off, that also thinking strategically about your goals and you're not just going on a bunch of tangents. Like, how is this building your business forward in a specific line? I was talking to someone yesterday, and she does all kinds of collaborations. Like she's collaboration queen. She's doing all sorts of workshops with all sorts of people in her city, but they're all very different. Like she'll teach yoga, but it's all too bitsy, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
ultimately it's not like growing her niche and growing her like in a sort of direct line, because it's like, oh, this thing's completely different from this one, and this one's completely different, and this one's completely different. So it's just like lots of pieces. So when you are thinking about it, like how is it going to benefit you, and are you sidetracking and side questing, or is this like the main quest still and makes sense on that main quest?
I feel like I am the queen of like this exact problem because I have so many passions and I realized that it was like it was not helping my business grow. So what I did, and there's probably many versions of people like this out there, create a spreadsheet and put all of these brilliant ideas into a spreadsheet and then add dates as to when you are going to do it, and not like today and then tomorrow. I'm talking like a year from now, 5 years from now. It's like you're currently growing something in your business now. And then if you want to have a completely different business or like a completely different aspect of the business, grow your business first, build the foundation of it first. And then when you're ready to add these amazing creative ideas, you can add them when it makes sense. You don't have to do everything right away because you're going to burn yourself out. Number one, because you're going to confuse yourself and everyone because you're offering way too many things. And it just doesn't make sense from a financial perspective. And I get it. Like when you first start teaching yoga, like I was the same way. Like I would say yes to teaching yoga anywhere because I just loved it so much. But from a financial perspective, it did not make sense and I was burning myself out. So teach what you love if it financially makes sense. Teach what you love if it grows your business in the way that you have the vision of it. And then when you want to add those other things, great. And there might also be some things that you just don't need to add because not every passion needs to be a profitable thing in your life. And that's okay.
Yeah, I love that you said that, and I appreciate that you mentioned dates and adding specific dates to things, because I think that's very important. Like, if you're like, I want to do like one podcast a month, if your goal is to be on podcasts or something, and like you make sure that that happens and you're pitching people to happen, or like the summit was great for me because I am great at the side quests, but there was a lot of people writing on it and it had a specific date. So I had to get everything done by those dates. So like putting very specific goals in place definitely helps it actually happen versus like be a brilliant idea that will hopefully happen one day.
I agree with this. And I love how you just really emphasize like I like how I shared the dates and you're like, no, like the dates are a deadline. And it's like you're gonna choose if you're gonna meet that or not. And that's how you're gonna grow your business. Because at the end of the day, like if you're not setting goals for yourself and you're not setting those dates, those collaborations can never happen because you didn't even choose to grow your business. So it's really just like being strict on yourself on like, hey, I gotta get this done so this yoga business can grow, period.
Hmm. And there's a big mindset shift, which I recognized recently, actually, talking to the yoga teacher that I'm planning this collaboration with. And I was sharing like these retreat spaces, local ones, and I was like, oh, it would be awesome to do one like here, for example, and like just these beautiful, beautiful spaces that they're obviously a bit more expensive. So it's going to be like a bigger project to organize. But like from in my mind, when I'm looking at these, it's a when I do it, like I'll do it and that's
Mhm.
end. I haven't set the date yet, but I'm going to do it. Versus she was like, oh yeah, that would be really cool one day, maybe. And so it's like the mindset of like, oh, that's a dream. Whereas for me, I'm like, it's a reality and it's going to happen. Like it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And I think
Yes.
that running collaborations has helped me build those skills and that certainty, I suppose, that now I know that I can organize something. It's just a matter of like setting the date and doing it rather than being like, oh, that would be really cool and having it as this big dream. And as yoga teachers, we're great at dreams and I'm great at dreams, but like making it solid. And then it's nice to be certain in the fact that you know that you can make your dreams come true.
We are very much in alignment with this. Like we have the same energy and the same type A personality when it comes to this. I am a very much a this is going to happen and a when it's going to happen person. It's never been an if situation in my life. I feel like sometimes there needs to be if situations in my life because I go after too much. And I think that's the difference between like someone who is a yoga entrepreneur and someone who is just dreaming about it. And there's nothing wrong with dreaming. I think we honestly all should just dream more, like take more time to do that and get in that creative flow and really implement like this dream is going to happen on this date. Like I'm someone who does present day goal writing, and I write my dreams and speak them out loud as if they've already happened on very specific dates. And then they happen, not because I just spoke it out loud and manifested it, but because I put in the work to make sure it happens by that date. So that is so important. Like, first of all, how bad do you want it? Like, do you really want to grow that yoga business? Do you want to be financially dependent on yourself? I definitely do. Therefore, like, I'm going to put in the work to grow my yoga business, and there will be dates to follow up on to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a bit relaxed at the moment with growing my yoga business because I'm like, yep, it'll grow. I will do it. Like, I know that there's no question that it'll be a full-time income, but I have a baby, so it's not like right this very second. But I do need to force myself to market a little bit more because I'm a bit like, yep, it will happen. And I know it's going to happen very soon. But I think that's the key that you mentioned to manifesting that people forget and overlook is that like the manifesting part, it's not just you're dreaming it, you literally are like taking action on it and you're setting the dates, and then it happens because you made it happen and you took all of the steps and you put it in the diary and you're like, this is when it'll happen, and then it does.
Exactly. And I also like want to acknowledge you for like you are literally raising a human right now. And I think that there's in my community there are a lot of mom yoga teachers, and I really just want to emphasize the fact that like as someone who is a professional forcer, I am learning how to surrender to things so my business can grow. And I think, you know, a lot of times when we take a yoga class, like a lot of teachers will like not teach Shavasana, or they will like talk through it or just make it 30 seconds long. And I think this is like the most important part of growing a yoga business is like surrender and practicing it. Like it is the most important part of your yoga practice and business. So if you're someone who is raising a child or you are birthing a new business, like there is something really beautiful in allowing things to fall into place as well when they are ready to.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's becoming a mother is the biggest lesson that's in business and in life, and just letting things go and knowing that there's a little human that's a little bit more important than some of your dreams sometimes, and that's okay. Yeah, and definitely relax into it. Allow things to happen that you don't expect to happen. And I think that's one of the beautiful things with collaborations is it can really open you up to that, and opportunities will come your way when you start to put these things out there. You'll get recognized and opportunities will come your way that you never thought would happen. So, and that's a really beautiful thing about collaborating and growing your network.
That's the most magical part, in my opinion. Like letting the magic unfold and letting it happen, and like letting yourself get so surprised as to like the good things that will happen. I always say magnificent things take time, and that's my mantra in life. It's the mantra in my business, because there are just magical things that you can never like force to happen, that you can never set dates for, because the universe is just so full of goodness and so are people. Therefore, just when you put yourself out there even a little bit, like get ready for the unexpected and just that dreamy energy to come your way. I couldn't agree with this more. And such a beautiful way to end this podcast too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I agree with that 100%.
So one more time, just in case people forgot or didn't listen, how can they find you if they want to work with you, if they want to listen to the summit, if they want to join the summit, if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, just all Matt's taken everywhere. So Instagram, and my website, that's pretty much the main ones, and YouTube a bit as well, and then the podcast. But if you search All Matt's Taken, you will find me.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Adrianne, for just providing such a beautiful collaboration of a conversation when it comes to collaborations in the yoga industry. Thank you for sharing your expertise of building online collaborations for summits and in the yoga industry, and also sharing a bit about what it's like to be a mom running a yoga business too. I so appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for having the idea to do this collaboration.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, we are doing a podcast collaboration. I went on Adrianne's podcast and she is now on mine, and we are going to launch these podcast episodes on the same week. We will come up with a date and let all of you know when that happens. But we're really excited about that. That way, you can learn as much as you can and grow your business in a way that serves you from two different perspectives. So get ready.
Yeah, I love that.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
If you want your retreat, teacher training, studio, or wellness offering to be featured on the Yes podcast, then send an email to Brytta@brittamarita.com to get the details, or check the show notes for our email.